First contact. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the bridge of the ESS Horizon, watching as the rust-colored planet grew larger in the view screen. After 6 months of faster-than-light travel, they had finally arrived at HD 778, a world that had been broadcasting strange energy signatures for the past decade. The scientific community had dubbed it the Singing Planet due to the rhythmic nature of its emissions, but Sarah suspected they'd find more than just an astronomical curiosity. Final approach vector calculated, announced Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez from the navigation station. Atmospheric composition is within human tolerable ranges, but there's something odd about the electromagnetic readings. Sarah nodded, her eyes fixed on the swirling storms that painted the planet's surface in shades of amber and copper. Define odd, Lieutenant. The patterns are too regular, Commander. It's like the whole planet is running on a program. Dr. Emily Patel, the expedition's chief xenorchaeologist, stepped forward, her dark eyes sparkling with excitement. Just like the theoretical model suggested, this isn't a natural phenomenon. We're looking at a planetary-scale artificial system. The bridge crew fell silent, the implications of that statement hanging heavy in the recycled air. Humanity had found signs of alien civilization before, microfossils on Mars, the ruins of simple structures on Europa. But nothing like this. Nothing that still hummed with power after who knew how many millennia. Take us in, Sarah ordered. Standard first contact protocols. Full defensive screens, but weapons powered down. Let's not start an interstellar incident. The horizon descended through the upper atmosphere, the ship's advanced shielding dispersing the friction heat into harmless light that traced their path like a comet's tail. As they broke through the clouded layer, the true nature of the planet's surface revealed itself. "My God," Emily whispered, pressing her hands against the view screen. Below them stretched a vast geometric pattern of structures, each one perfectly aligned with its neighbors. What had looked like natural formations from orbit were actually pyramids, towers, and massive walls, all constructed from a material that seemed to drink in the light. Getting some unusual readings from the nearest structure, reported Dr. James Chen, Sarah's brother, and the ship's chief physicist. It's responding to our presence. Power signatures are increasing. Sarah had led enough expeditions to know when a situation was about to change dramatically. All hands to stations, security teams on standby. Dr. Patel, what are we looking at? Emily was already analyzing the data streaming across her tablet. The architecture suggests a military installation, but the scale, this isn't just a base. The entire planet appears to be one interconnected facility. Before Sarah could respond, a beam of purple light shot up from the nearest pyramid, passing harmlessly through the ship's shields and bathing the bridge in an ethereal glow. Symbols appeared in the air, three-dimensional glyphs that spun slowly before resolving into English text. Assessment protocols INITIATD. Scanning species parameters. Nobody move, Sarah ordered, even as her heart raced. This was what they'd trained for, what humanity had dreamed of since first looking up at the stars. First contact. The purple light pulsed, and new text appeared. Species, human. Technological LEVL. Transitional. Genetic potential. Significant. Warrior, CAP abilities. Untested. James moved closer to his sister, his voice low. Sarah, these systems aren't just active, they're adaptive. They're analyzing us in real time and modifying their outputs to match our language and comprehension level. We assume children of Earth, the message continued. HFY human did this series is all. Here, the greatest warriors in the GLXY once trained. Here, weapons they could TTER stars were EFORGD. Here, they mighty prove their worth. Emily's hands flew across her console, recording everything. This is unprecedented. We're not just dealing with alien technology. We're dealing with a fully automated alien military academy. A new set of glyphs appeared, these ones burning with a fierce red light. UAV-ACT IVAKDTATY-ALS. Prepare, WORSELVs. For you shall be tested. Suit and TE power of the ancients shall be yours. Fail, and your world shall join the others who were found wanting. Sarah felt the weight of command pressing down on her shoulders. In the space of a few minutes, what should have been a scientific expedition had turned into something far more significant. They hadn't just discovered alien ruins, they'd awakened them. And now, ready or not, humanity had been enrolled in the galaxy's most dangerous school. Orders, Commander, Marcus asked, his hand hovering over the navigation controls. Sarah straightened her uniform, her decision already made. They couldn't run from this, couldn't ignore the challenge. Humanity had spent centuries reaching for the stars, and now the stars were reaching back. Send a message to Earth Command, she said. Priority 1. Tell them we found something. Something big. And then, she looked at her crew, seeing the same mix of fear and excitement in their eyes that she felt in her heart. Prepare for landing. Class is in session. The horizon descended toward the nearest landing zone, its shadow falling across structures that had waited millennia for worthy students to arrive. Above them, the rust-colored sky seemed to pulse with anticipation, as if the planet itself was awakening from a long slumber. Humanity's greatest test was about to begin. The awakening. The first week on HD 778, he passed in a blur of discovery and mounting tension. Commander Sarah Chen watched from the temporary command center as another section of the ancient facility illuminated, responding to human presence like a slumbering giant slowly opening its eyes. The initial landing team had grown to include specialists from 3 other Earth vessels, all drawn by the magnitude of their discovery. The architecture is responding to us, Dr. Emily Paddle explained, gesturing to the holographic display that showed the facility's expanding activation pattern. It's not just accepting our presence, it's actively reconfiguring itself to accommodate human physiology. James Chen, who had barely slept since their arrival, pulled up another display. The power systems are unlike anything we've ever theorized. They're drawing energy from everywhere. Quantum fields, dark matter, dimensional bleed. It's like they found a way to tap into the fundamental forces of the universe itself. Sarah studied the streams of data, noting how each activated section seemed to pulse in sync with their research team's movements. And the weapons systems. Still mostly dormant, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his security station. But we're detecting increasing energy signatures from the subterranean levels. Whatever's down there, it's waking up. As if in response to his words, the facility's AI manifested in the center of the room, its holographic form a shifting pattern of geometric shapes that seemed to exist in more dimensions than the human eye could process. Initial assessment phase complete, it announced. Beginning Stage 1 trials. The floor beneath them shuddered, and new doorways appeared in previously solid walls, revealing corridors that descended deep into the planet's crust. The AI continued, its message appearing simultaneously in projected text and resonating directly in their minds. The Shiryusus IBL, Re-C-O-G-N-I-Z is your potential. UAAVDENONSTRATE basic QQMPATI with our systems. Now you must prove your worth as warriors. Emily stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her caution. Who created you? What happened to them? The AI's form shifted, displaying fragments of what appeared to be historical records. Images of beings composed of crystal and energy, wielding technologies that bent reality itself. The RCHITCT is ASCENDD to a higher plane of existence. They left HFY facility to find worthy successors among te younger races. Many have been tested. Few have survived. None have succeeded. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. And what exactly do these trials entail? Combat simulation initiating. The AI responded. Before anyone could react, the command center transformed around them. Walls became transparent, revealing vast training grounds that had lain hidden beneath the surface. In one chamber, gravity reversed itself every few seconds. In another, time itself seemed to flow differently, with objects aging centuries in moments before rejuvenating. These are but fragments of our knowledge, the AI continued. The architects' wars were fought, not just with weapons, but of reality of. To master their power, you must first survive it. James was already analyzing the readings from the revealed chambers. These aren't just training rooms, they're testing our fundamental understanding of physics. Each challenge seems designed to push the boundaries of what we think is possible. A new alert sounded, and Rodriguez's console lit up with warnings. Commander, we're detecting multiple objects entering the system. They're coming out of hyperspace, but not like anything we've seen before. The signatures suggest they're literally tearing holes in space-time. The AI's form pulsed with what almost seemed like satisfaction. The first wave a pro ishages. Other species detcct your extitigation of the HFY. They qm to chaleng your clam. Prove your right to this knowledge, or it will be taken from you. Sarah immediately shifted into combat mode. All personnel to battle stations. Rodriguez, get our defense systems online. Emily, James, I need everything you've learned about this facility's capabilities now. There's more, Emily said, her eyes fixed on a new data stream. The facility, it's offering to help us, to teach us how to use its systems. The AI confirmed her observation. These CRUs ADAPTs to those ATTSTs. Your species, Sheshovois PROMISE, and WAYs. The others did not. Your creativity, your adaptability. These are traits the ARCATCT is valued. You have yours to prepare. Use them wisely. As the command center erupted into activity, Sarah felt the weight of not just command, but of humanity's future settling onto her shoulders. They had come seeking knowledge and found themselves on the brink of an interstellar conflict. But as she watched her crew diving into their tasks with determined efficiency, she realized something else. This was what humanity had been preparing for since they first looked up at the stars and dreamed. Begin the training, she told the AI. Show us everything. The facility hummed with power, and above them, the rust-colored sky turned electric with energy as ancient defense systems began to power up. They had 48 hours to learn the impossible, to master technologies beyond their comprehension. But as Sarah watched the first training simulations begin, she smiled. If there was one thing humans excelled at, it was beating impossible odds. The real question was, what would they become in the process? Trial by fire, the alien ships emerged from their space-time ruptures like predators breaking the surface of a cosmic ocean. Their hulls shifted and flowed like liquid metal, adapting to the local space-time conditions even as they approached. Commander Sarah Chen watched them from the facility's enhanced sensor array, noting how they moved with an unsettling organic grace. 7 distinct ship designs, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his fingers dancing across the holographic controls they'd only begun to master. Each one seems to represent a different species. They're maintaining formation, but there's something off about their approach. They're competing with each other, James said, looking up from his analysis station. These aren't allies coming to drive us out. They're rivals, each trying to claim the facility for themselves. The A's geometric form materialized, its patterns more complex than ever. Coerced. The trials require competition. Only through coordinate can true potential be revealed. Sarah had spent the last 48 hours pushing her crew to their limits, absorbing as much of the facility's knowledge as they could process. Now it was time to put that crash course to the test. Emily, status on the defense grid. Dr. Paddle stood before a wall of floating symbols, her neural interface headset glowing as she communicated directly with the facility's systems. Primary weapons are online. The quantum field generators are stable, and the reality anchors are holding. But Sarah, she turned, her expression grave. We've barely scratched the surface of what this technology can do. We'll have to make it enough, Sarah replied, her voice steady despite the pressure building in her chest. James, what about the special project? Her brother grinned, fatigue lines around his eyes doing nothing to dim his excitement. It worked. The facility's combat simulations helped us crack it. We can't match their level of space-time manipulation, but we can predict it, maybe even counter it. The alien ships entered weapons range, their formation shifting like schools of fish. The AI spoke again. They'd first trial begins. Defend the CRUCIBL. Prove your worth. Sarah straightened her uniform, channeling years of command experience into this moment. Battle stations. All sections report ready. The first attack came from the ship that resembled a crystalline snowflake. It fired what appeared to be a beam of pure probability, attempting to alter local reality so that the facility's shields had never existed. But James was ready. The countermeasures they'd developed kicked in, reality anchors flaring as they maintained the timeline where their defenses held firm. Return fire, Sarah ordered. Pattern Alpha 3. The facility's weapons responded. Sarah watched as one of the suspended figures, Lieutenant Rodriguez, manipulated a sphere of pure probability with his thoughts. The sphere shifted through multiple quantum states, each one representing a different possible reality. Any sign of negative effects? Nothing permanent, James replied. Some minor temporal displacement during sleep. A few of them are dreaming about events that haven't happened yet, but the reality anchors keep them grounded. The AI materialized beside them, its geometric form now incorporating patterns they'd learned to recognize as expressions of approval. Adaptation PROCEDs at LNPRECDDNT. Your species' neural architecture shows remarkable flexibility. We've had 3 more ships arrive from Earth, Sarah reported to her team. The best and brightest, ready to join the program. But the real question is, will it be enough? Emily descended from her floating workstation, her neural interface dimming as she switched to normal consciousness. The facility's archives have revealed more about what we're facing. The architects didn't just ascend. They were fighting something. Something that scared them enough to create all this. The AI's form flickered, displaying fragments of ancient battles that hurt the human mind to observe. The void between species holds many threats. The architects created the CRUCIBLE to forge guardians, those who would stand against the darkness when it returns. And now that responsibility falls to us, Sarah said quietly. She turned to a new display, showing the defensive networks they'd established throughout the solar system. Reality anchors and quantum mirrors protected strategic points, while temporal sensors watched for any sign of space-time distortion. James pulled up another hologram, this one showing the modifications they'd made to their ships. The integration of architect technology with our existing systems is proceeding faster than expected. The quantum entanglement drives are stable, and the probability weapons are ready for testing. But it's not just about the technology, Emily added. We're beginning to understand their philosophy, their way of thinking. The architects didn't just fight with weapons, they fought with concepts, with ideas that could reshape reality itself. As if to demonstrate her point, alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. Rodriguez, now out of his suspension field, rushed to the tactical station. Multiple quantum signatures detected. These are bigger than anything we've seen before. The AI's form expanded, filling the room with a lattice of light. The Seacount and wavy a pro is older race is more experienced. They felt the ripples of your vice2ri, and siuamito test, their might against yours. Sarah accessed the tactical feeds through her own neural interface, feeling the facility's systems merge with her consciousness. The approaching ships were massive, their very existence seeming to warp the space around them. These weren't opportunists or curious explorers. These were warrior races who had been searching for the Crucible for millennia. How many? She asked, though she could already see the answer in the quantum probability streams. 12 capital ships, Rodriguez reported. Each one appears to be using technology similar to ours, but more refined. They've had centuries to develop their own versions of architect tech. Sarah felt a moment of doubt. They had learned so much, pushed themselves beyond all known limits, but were they ready for this? Had 3 months of accelerated evolution prepared them to face races that had been spacefaring when humanity was still figuring out agriculture? The AI sensed her uncertainty. The architects she chose to rail by combat, noted because they gale ueviolence, but bk is tigrugirogi. Koamis, from Q and F-O-N-T-I-N-G the impossible. Your species, is shown read mer k-bilpoti into ale. Now, you must realize it. Sarah looked at her crew, her family now, after everything they'd been through. Each of them had been transformed by their time in the Crucible. They weren't just humans using advanced technology. They were becoming something new, something that could stand toe-to-toe with the cosmic horrors that had frightened even the architects. Begin evacuation of non-essential personnel, she ordered. Battle stations for everyone else. Emily, bring the quantum forges online. We'll need every weapon we can craft. James, activate the full neural network, if we're going to face them. Sarah watched as the alien vessels transformed, their structures becoming increasingly abstract as they attempted to outmaneuver the facility's defenses. But with each adaptation, the AI provided new insights, new tactics, new ways to bend reality to their advantage. Multiple dimensional incursions detected, Emily reported, her hands moving through the holographic controls with practiced ease. They're trying to attack from parallel timelines. Activate the quantum mirrors, Sarah commanded. The facility hummed as new systems came online, reflecting the dimensional attacks back at their sources. 2 more alien ships disappeared, their own tactics turned against them. But the remaining vessels pressed their attack with increasing desperation. Reality itself seemed to shudder as weapons fire twisted the fabric of space-time. Warning signals flared across multiple displays. Shield integrity at 60%. Rodriguez shouted, "They're coordinating their attacks." Sarah felt sweat beading on her forehead as she analyzed the tactical display. The alien ships had arranged themselves in a pattern that seemed to violate basic geometry, their weapons combining to create effects that shouldn't have been possible. "James, remember that theory you had about quantum entanglement?" she asked, an idea forming. Her brother's eyes widened. "It's untested. We could end up collapsing the local space-time continuum." "Risk is necessary for growth," the AI interjected. The architects did note HHAEVG through scalation. Sarah made her decision. Do it. James initiated the sequence, and reality seemed to hold its breath. The facility's quantum processors engage, creating a cascade of entangled particles that linked their weapons, shields, and the very space around them into a single unified system. For a moment, everyone in the command center existed both as themselves and as part of something larger. The effect was devastating. The alien ships found their carefully coordinated attack pattern turned into a trap, each vessel suddenly connected to the others in ways their systems couldn't handle. Space itself seemed to ripple as the quantum entanglement spread, turning their formation into a knot of paradoxes. When reality stabilized, only one alien ship remained, its liquid metal hull frozen in a configuration that suggested both awe and submission. A transmission cut through the chaos of battle. "We yield to your innovation, humans. The tales of this battle will spread. Others will come, seeking to test themselves against your mastery of the Crucible's gifts." The ship retreated, vanishing into another space-time rupture. In its wake, silence fell over the command center, broken only by the hum of systems returning to normal operation. The eyes form pulsed with what might have been approval. First trial, co-MPLET'd. Unexpected, SOLUTIONS Potential, for ADVANC, NIENT. Significant. Sarah looked at her crew, seeing the same mix of exhaustion and exhilaration on their faces that she felt in her own heart. They had survived their first real test, but something told her the challenges ahead would make this battle seem like a warm-up exercise. "Begin analysis of the battle data," she ordered. "I want to know everything about how those ships operated, how they adapted, and how we can do better next time." As her crew moved to their tasks with renewed purpose, Sarah gazed out at the rust-colored sky, now scared with the aftermath of reality-warping weapons fire. They had proven they could defend the Crucible, but the true test would be mastering it. The facility had shown them possibilities beyond their wildest dreams, and they had only begun to understand its potential. The first trial was over. The real challenges were just beginning. The Forge. 3 months had passed since the first battle, and HD 778 had transformed from an archaeological site into humanity's most advanced military installation. Commander Sarah Chen stood in what they now called the Forge, watching as researchers and soldiers worked with technologies that would have seemed like magic just months ago. Neural interface synchronization complete, Dr. Emily Patil announced, her voice steady despite the streams of data flowing directly into her consciousness. Around her, a dozen crew members floated in suspension fields, their minds linked to the facility's vast knowledge base. The new training protocols are holding stable. James Chen monitored their vital signs from his station, where holographic displays showed the quantum state of each participant's consciousness. Brain plasticity is increasing with each session. We're literally rewiring ourselves to better understand the architect's technology. Sarah felt the neural network connecting them all, turning the facility and its defenders into a single vast organism. They had spent 3 months in the forge of the architect's making, being reshaped into something new. Now it was time to test their mettle against the galaxy's finest warriors. As the first shots were fired, reality itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what humanity would become in the crucible of combat. The greatest test yet was about to begin, and the fate of not just Earth, but perhaps the entire galaxy hung in the balance. Worthy successors. Reality shuddered as the battle reached its peak. The space around HD 778 had become a quantum storm of impossible geometries and warped physics as humanity faced its greatest challenge yet. Commander Sarah Chen existed simultaneously in multiple states, her physical form in the command center, her consciousness spread across the facility's neural network, and her quantum signature entangled with every defender of the Crucible. They're pushing through the outer defensive grid. Rodriguez's voice echoed across both physical and mental space. The attacking fleet had proven more formidable than anything they'd faced before, their mastery of architect technology evident in every move they made. Through the neural network, Sarah felt Emily's focused determination as she worked to maintain their reality anchors. The quantum matrices are holding, but they're using techniques we've never seen before. They're not just bending space-time, they're rewriting its fundamental laws. The enemy vessels moved like a school of cosmic predators, their hulls rippling with technologies that made them seem more like living ideas than physical ships. Each one represented a different ancient race, each one determined to claim the crucible for themselves. The AI's presence spread through the neural network, its thoughts merging with their collective consciousness, observing their tactics. Each race aims generations of understanding. Learn from them, even as you fight them. Sarah watched as one of the alien ships literally rewrote its own history, transforming into a weapon that had been perfected across 1,000 parallel timelines. Another vessel phased between dimensions, attempting to bypass their defenses by attacking from realities that shouldn't have existed. But humanity had learned well in their time at the Crucible. James's voice cut through the chaos, both spoken and thought. They're strong individually, but they're fighting alone. Each ship, each race, trying to prove their own supremacy. Sarah understood immediately. Everything the Crucible had taught them, everything they'd learned about the Architect's technology, pointed to a fundamental truth. Reality itself was interconnected. The quantum entanglement they'd mastered wasn't just a weapon or a tool. It was a philosophy. All defenders, initiate Unity Protocol, she commanded. Through the neural network, every human mind in the facility joined together. Their consciousness merged not just with each other, but with the quantum fabric of space-time itself. The facility's systems, their modified ships, even their own enhanced bodies became part of a single vast quantum organism. The effect was immediate and spectacular. Reality rippled as human consciousness spread across multiple dimensions. Their weapons fired in perfect synchronization, each shot calculated across infinite probabilities. Their defenses adapted as one, probability fields and temporal barriers working in harmony. By the void, one of the alien commanders transmitted, their message translated across all possible languages simultaneously. They've achieved true quantum synchronization. They're fighting as one being. The AI's presence swelled with something that felt like pride. The architect is so UGC not just to create warriors, but to forge unity from chaos. UAVGRASPEDT truth, Aster, then ANYBFORU. The battle reached its crescendo. The alien ships launched their final assault, each one unleashing technologies that could have cracked planets. But humanity's unified defense held. More than held, it thrived. Every attack was met with a response that seemed to come from the deepest understanding of reality itself. We are humanity, Sarah transmitted, her thoughts carried on waves of quantum probability. We are not just individuals. We are not just a species. We are possibility itself. Through their collective consciousness, they reached out across space and time. They saw the patterns the architects had woven into reality. They understood, finally, what the Crucible had been preparing them for. The attacking fleet faltered as their weapons met not just resistance, but transformation. Human defenders didn't just block their attacks. They adapted them, improved them, turned them into something new. Each struggle became a lesson, each conflict an opportunity for growth. Finally, after what could have been hours or eons, the alien ships withdrew. But they didn't retreat in defeat. Instead, they arranged themselves in a pattern that the facility's archives recognized as a gesture of profound respect. We came seeking to test your worth, the alien commanders transmitted as one. Instead, you have shown us a new path. The architects chose well. The AI's form expanded, filling both physical and quantum space. Final trial TOMPLETD. UHAV is as you are PASSED all expectations. The Crucible is yours, A's are ALLATs SECYTs. Sarah felt the neural network pulse with collective triumph, but also with understanding. They had been transformed, but not just into warriors. They had become something the architects had hoped for, but never achieved. Beings who could unite the quantum nature of reality with the strength of individual consciousness. What now? Emily asked, her thought echoing through their shared awareness. What do we do with this power? The answer came not from Sarah or the AI, but from their collective understanding. The architects had created the crucible not just to forge warriors, but to prepare guardians for what lay between the spaces of reality. The tests they had faced were not just about proving their worth, they were about preparing them for a greater purpose. Now, Sarah said, her words carrying the weight of both command and destiny, we do what humanity has always done. We explore, we learn, we grow, but we do it not just as humans, but as guardians of reality itself. The facility hummed with power as new systems activated, revealing technologies and insights that had waited millennia for worthy inheritors. Above them, the quantum storm calmed, and the rust-colored sky of HD 778 seemed to shine with new purpose. Humanity had entered the crucible as explorers and emerged as something more, the true successors to the architect's legacy. They had proven themselves not through dominance, but through unity, not through power alone, but through understanding. The greatest adventure was just beginning.